menopause and weight gain. Let's talk about it. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Meghan. I am a board certified physician in internal medicine, lifestyle medicine, and obesity medicine. And this channel is a place for evidence-based answers to your weight questions. So, also before we get started, if you want to work with me, if you live in Massachusetts, if you live outside of Massachusetts, I will leave that information down below. You can work with me directly. I help hundreds of patients lose weight, and I'm here to help you with that too, whether it's through the video or through my practice, whichever. Today we're going to talk about menopause and weight gain. Now, I'm sure there are a million videos about this. I'm sure there are a million videos. I'm sure there are a million TikToks. I'm sure there are a million Instagram posts. I haven't watched them. My goal is to bring you evidence-based content to answer your questions about health as a physician. And so I'm sure there's a lot out there. I'm sure many people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I want this video to be helpful for you. So there was this great lecture at the Blackburn Obesity Medicine Conference last year, and it was by an endocrinologist. I believe she's at the Brigham, maybe not. I'll leave her information down below, but it was really good. And essentially what she was talking about was that, you know, it's not that you go through menopause and your body's like, here's an extra 20 pounds. Like it's not that you gain a lot of weight, but that the hormonal changes cause a weight redistribution so that women are getting more fatty tissue around their abdomen where they didn't have it for most of their adult lives. Also, you have to remember that as you age, you're losing muscle mass as well if you're not actively working to build it. So you have to take that into account as well when you're thinking about metabolic changes. But anyway, I really liked that lecture because it really underscored what I have seen clinically as a physician, what I've observed in everyday life, and also what I've seen through my own research. So there was a great study in Science. I'll link this down below, but it looked at energy expenditure throughout the human lifespan. And they looked at, it was very well done. It was over 6,000 subjects in 29 different countries. Over 60% of the participants were women. And they looked at several different data points in terms of energy expenditure. But one of the things that they expected to see was that the metabolism of women would slow down around their 40s or 50s, around the time of menopause. And what they found actually was that there was no difference between men and women, and that metabolism was actually very steady. Energy expenditure was very steady between age 20 and age 60, and that was for men and women. And that 60 was really when the metabolism started to change for men and women, and it was a gradual change, and that also as energy expenditure started to decline, so also did fat-free mass. So all the things in your body that aren't fat and fat mass. So it also wasn't like people were gaining a lot of fat after age 60 as well. So until age 60, we really shouldn't expect rapid or automatic weight gain at any particular stage, even menopause. And then even after age 60, metabolism is only slowly dropping. And even after age 60, metabolism is slowly dropping. And a lot of this, in the study, they go into more detail about it, but a lot of it can also be attributed to like your organs just, you know, a lot of your resting metabolic rate is due to just the daily basic functioning of all your organs, your liver, your brain, like your kidneys, you know, and they're just less efficient as time goes on. So they're just using less energy. They're tired. They're just using less energy after age 60. I think this gives us a lot of hope about you know, what to expect, and also the importance of, you know, starting and sustaining a healthy lifestyle. Also, there was a very interesting study in Australia. It wasn't nearly as big as this study, but it was a 5-year study that followed premenopausal women and perimenopausal women in Australia, and the mean weight gain over these 5 years was 2.1 kilograms. You know, and the waist circumference, interestingly, did increase during that transition. So again, it's not that you hit menopause and you should expect your body to just gain 10 or 20 pounds. What you should expect is that you're gonna notice weight in places where perhaps you didn't notice it before. If you're somebody who had, if your waist was the thinnest part of you or one of the thinnest parts of you, you may notice that you have more fatty tissue there than you did before menopause or, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. You may notice that's different, and that's definitely something that we can ascribe to hormonal changes. I also think it's important to think about, where a lot of women are at this stage in their life. So in all likelihood, they are probably very busy. So women in their 40s, women in their 50s, they may have increased external demands that they want to accommodate. So maybe their career is really picking up and there's a lot of things that they want to do, or maybe they have maybe they have both. Maybe they have kids and a career. The kids are getting older. Maybe they're going to college. Maybe they have more, needs or demands on their time. Maybe their parents are getting older. All of those could be happening at once. And so I think it's important to take into consideration that there may be a lot of external demands on a woman's time at this point in her life. And so you have to think about that in terms of how it plays a role in lifestyle as well. And it may mean that you have to be a lot more structured about the changes that you want to make to stay healthy, where you maybe didn't have to do that earlier in your life. But I think it's also very interesting in terms of the expectations that we have for different periods in our lives, because I hear this all the time in clinic. Patients will say, oh my gosh, ever since I turned blah, 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 things just haven't been the same. And the interesting part is the age is always different. So I'll have patients that come in and they're like, ever since I turned 30, I've noticed all these changes. But then the next person will come in and say, ever since I turned, 45, this has happened, or 40, or, 50. And, it's never the same age. And I think it's important to kind of challenge the expectations that you have, because what, scientifically we can see is that, and of course, everybody's different, right? Everybody's going to have a slightly different metabolism. There are going to be outliers. What we can see is that in general, there's no metabolic stage between 20 and 60 where you should definitely expect things to drastically change. And I'm not talking about pregnancy, although they did in the study, but there's no, you shouldn't expect, an extra weight gain at any particular point, 20 to 60. And even after 60, people are losing the fat mass too. So I think it's interesting because we always have these expectations of the freshman 15 or the quarantine 19. There's so many things we can, times when our society expects us to gain weight, but what we see scientifically is that really doesn't have to be the case. And so if it's not kind of innately metabolically the way we're programmed, then we have to think about, okay, well, what is going on externally that may predispose me to this, and how can I change that? Because that is really where you have more control anyway. That's not a given. Just because someone goes away to college, that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to gain weight or eat unhealthy or treat their body in a way that they wouldn't necessarily do that. Again, as a caveat, these studies are not looking at surgical menopause. That's kind of an outlier, a different category. But anyway, I think for patients who come to me and they say, ever since I turned 30, this happened. I gained 20 pounds. Or ever since I turned whatever, I've noticed a lot of changes. What I think is really important to ask at that time is take a really detailed, data-driven look at what your life is like. So are you currently eating 10 out of 10 how you want to eat? Do you feel like everything is just how you want it to be and that's how you want to live your life? And if not, what's changed or what's different? And the same thing goes with exercise. If you feel like you've gained weight at a certain time in your life, You know, are you exercising 10 out of 10 how you want to exercise? And if not, what's changed, what's not working, and what is working? You want to get really, you just want to get really nitty gritty and find the data in your own life. That's the best place to start, really controlling with what you can control. Don't necessarily leap to this is inevitable because of I'm turning X number of years, right? And if you're doing all of the above, that's a great time also to talk to your physician. I know there's definitely a time and a place for that. If you feel like you're exercising how you want to exercise, you're eating how you want to eat, you're not noticing changes, that's a great time to see your doctor. So I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. As always, my references will be listed down below. Info for how to work with me will be listed down below, and please be well.